welcome to video version of The Art of Digging. It's a podcast that is now a TV show. Sure. Nick, this is Cory. If you guys don't know Cory, go around the table, fucking introduce yourselves. We're with the band KNOW LYFE. What are your damn names and what do you do?
I'm Alfonso. I am the singer.
I'm Jake. I play drums.
Recently.
Yes.
I am Waylon, and I'm the whole fucking show.
He's the whole fucking show.
I'm Jared. I play guitar.
All right. So now nobody cares about any of that because we know you. How long have you guys been? How long has KNOW LYFE been a band? I know you're the young member, but how long has KNOW LYFE been together?
13 years.
13 years. Unlucky for some. How many members are original?
3.
3 of you. That's really awesome, actually. That's a really high number. How long have you been in the band now? Like
since January.
6 months, 7 months.
Playing out with you guys since January. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
You've done a great job since then. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Awesome. How many albums have you released?
5.
Like nationally for, I could find every one of these albums now if I so chose.
No, you would be able to find 4 out of the 5.
That's right. What happened to that other one?
It's buried somewhere deep in the... No one will ever find it. Pits of hell. The very first one will never make the light of day. That will never happen. Yeah.
We're going to steal it and remix it.
No.
So yeah, you guys... I've known you guys personally for a long time. I like you all personally. I would say that we were all friends, even you, new guy.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you.
Just a great band to work with. You're one of my favorite bands I get to tell people about anytime I get a chance. So it's well overdue that we sit down and talk about this stuff. We do this show called The Art of Digging, where we try to introduce people to music they might not know about. We played you guys a few times. So with that in mind, who do you guys listen to that you don't think it's enough play? We'll go around the table. Who do you like that nobody listens to?
Me?
Unfortunate. All of you, yeah.
Man, I'm like a Spotify junkie, and what I end up doing is I end up clicking on related artists, and I'll just literally go down the road, down the line, and just look for bands. Right now, there's a band from Australia that I really love. They're called In Heart's Wake. They're amazing.
Love that band.
Great band, really cool dudes. They're extremely popular in Australia, but nobody in the States knows them. There's a band. They're actually not even together anymore, but their record is great. There's a band called Mikoto, Mikoto. They were from California. I mean, they would travel to Europe and did really well in Europe, but nobody in the United States knew who they were.
I've never heard of either of those bands.
Exactly. And then
that's the whole idea of this fucking thing we do.
There's another band from Australia again, and they're called 12 Foot Ninja. They're awesome.
I've heard of them.
They're a great band. I mean, there's really 3 badass Michigan local bands and I say local loosely in the sense because they're just from Michigan that I think people need to know more about. It's a band called Of Virtue. They're they're badass.
They've been here.
They're an awesome band.
Amazing.
There's Of Virtue.
Yeah.
There's a band called Endeavors that I really, really enjoy. A great band too. Younger kids, man, but I mean they're just shredding it up and just tearing it up left and right, man. I mean,
I'm gonna ask you that question too, but who's the third band before I totally cut them out?
There's a band I really like. I think they may have played here before. They're more just a rock and roll band. They're called the Skylit Letter. Female-fronted vocalist. Great band, man. I mean, girls got soul, dude. So
I actually think I turned them down recently because we already had something booked.
Gotcha.
That happens a lot. But yeah, you mentioned there's a lot of young kid bands right now that inexplicably are musically amazing.
Yep.
They crawl out of the vagina and right into a guitar and go, oh yeah, this is fucking easy. It's on the side.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think? Do you think that's from just the fact that it's been bred into us now as a society, or is it just the availability of stuff on the internet? Why is it all these young kids are amazing musicians all of a sudden out of nowhere?
I mean,
It seems that way, doesn't it?
I think it's the availability because a lot of it is stuff that's already been done. They just get on a different level, and a lot of it has to be done with rhythm parts and shit like that. But
now,
it's not like a bunch of original parts are coming out.
When you were young, how did you learn to play guitar?
Other people and started back then.
Right, that was a new
Yeah.
You know?
That was new to
Al
us,
Gore just
man.
invented it.
You know, we were starting to use it, but we didn't have the Rocksmith. You plug your shit into your Xbox,
Exactly.
fucking play that shit. Like, you can learn those parts and play them well, but I mean that's what
We
it's
used to have
about
to listen
too.
to the
But
radio and record the favorite songs off the radio and then play them back and press pause. How do we play that? Rewind, go back.
I'm not gonna lie, I learned all my production skills from YouTube.
Damn, goddamn YouTube.
I think
Goddamn YouTube.
availability is, I think, huge now. But I think also like the way that we're like, which I don't necessarily agree with, but the way that we're like breeding it into kids as far as like more like rock and roll and metal, just and simply because they're like, it's like being glamorized, and you've got all these kids who want to look exactly the same and wear, you know, the clothes and stuff, and think that it's like this like, you know, and so there's stuff like that is it's very accessible, which there's nothing wrong with that, but what ends up happening is that I think that because of that they glorify the lifestyle, which in my personal opinion shouldn't really be glorified, because
No, glorify the music, stupid.
it's because the lifestyle is extremely tough, man. It's not like, you know, these kids think that they're gonna pick up a guitar and shred, which they do. I know some 16-year-olds who will put some 48-year-olds to shame.
Agreed.
But they think that they're gonna get up on stage and like sell a million records and like get a bunch of bitches and like go crazy, and it doesn't work that way. You're gonna sit in a van for years and years and years,
Down by the river.
get paid shit, and be wondering like why you're so miserable, because they're forgetting the music. It's supposed to be about the music rather than the lifestyle and it should be the arts. But I think, yeah, man,
That takes me to my first actual written down question. I asked this to like all the bands that we talk to whenever we do interviews. What the hell is wrong with the music business now? In a concise, like 2-minute explanation. I know there's a lot. But if you had to pick one thing that you would say is the biggest problem with the music business right now, what is it?
They're reluctant to change. They're reluctant to be open to a more broader sort of spectrum of how they should run a business. Unfortunately,
Still the old boys club.
Yeah, unfortunately, man, these people still think that they want to have all the control, and that's why they keep selling this image of like rock starism, because they're losing the grip, they're losing the ability to tell bands what to do. You know, before you had bands that had no choice. When you got signed, you did what your label told you to do and what your management told you to do, and that was it, because they control the market. Now it's like you've got Facebook, you've got YouTube, you've got everything else, and people are like
They don't need a record.
realizing like, well, some German person knows my band, and why the hell would I need you to do this? So now there's that grip is being lost, and I think they're desperate to control it. And I think that's the biggest issue, man. I think that you've got all these businesses that just feel that they're just going under, and they're trying to rape and pillage the last of what they can get. That's why you've got 360 deals. That's why you've got, you've got bands that put out one record, or now are signing.
Break up and then totally reform as a new band.
Exactly, or they sign a band for a 7-record deal, and like it's just crazy, man. I mean, I think that's really what's wrong with the industry. The way they're selling the industry, because they're fucking desperate to stay relevant. And the truth is that the record business, the business of selling physical records is dead. It's not coming back.
Albums.
Yeah.
It's not going to come back.
It seems
Record
like the only
labels
place people buy albums is at a show.
at a show.
Oh, right.
At a show.
Like underground record.
Yeah, I mean,
ABC and Eastland.
exactly. Like
They get all the
We're not
records.
proud of vintage album, which sucks. It's like records sound great. All the shit sounds great too.
Selling
But it's all digital.
That's
It's
classic
digital.
now.
Yeah, because
It's classic buying.
It's not. It's just accessible. Digital's so accessible, If you really want it, you
And
really
nobody has
feel
to
the
buy
music, you
full
go out
albums
there.
because they go, oh, I like that one song I heard, and I'll
Yeah.
download that one, and that's the only one.
And that's
So that
the thing, but and that's the industry yet again telling these people, you need to have a single. It's all about the single, and it's like, okay, so you write one great song, so what about the rest of your record? Sucks. And
no,
people
yeah,
are
your
gonna
rest of
buy
the
it.
record's bullshit.
You
Nobody's
know,
listening to that anyway.
I got, for me, I mean, call me old school. Call us, old school because we grew up in a different time, but I still want to hear.
You're still on the road today. You're still, doing it. So you have to adapt somewhere.
Yeah. But I still want to hear a great record through and through. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude.
I do too.
I think a record that every single metalhead on earth could probably agree that's still a great fucking record. Slayer's, fucking Rain and Blood. I mean, like,
Shit, yeah.
I'm not a big Slayer fan.
I'm not a big Slayer fan.
But that's
That's weird that he said that because that's my first fucking.
I like Rain and Blood and I like South of Heaven. I think both of those albums are top notch.
I'm not.
And I kind of like God Hates Us All.
And
I kind of think Slayer sucks.
Yeah, like, I am not the biggest Slayer fan. I'm not the biggest Slayer fan.
Dude, my first concert was weird.
Not the biggest Slayer fan, but honestly, man, they put out that record is that record because it's that good. Because every song on that record is awesome.
It's good. Agreed.
It's the same thing like a band with the Deftones. Why do you think Deftones are still selling records? Because every single one of their songs on that record is awesome.
They write good music.
They are.
They can't write nothing bad.
All right,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
you
it's
guys have worked with a lot of different bands. Who is the favorite band that you've worked with? Like that you've gotten to play with? It was like, oh man, I got to open for this band. It was my childhood dream. Who was or not even necessarily somebody that might have even surprised you how cool they were that you were so happy to work with them? Who's been your favorite band that you got to open for, play with, work with in your career? You can go around the table.
Start with Waylon.
Fucking 36 Crazy Fest was amazing, man.
Yeah, great guys.
Just because the coolest dudes ever.
Right, they were really cool.
They're really awesome.
Nice
like,
guys.
I think cool is still like an understatement.
yeah,
Those
that's
guys
an
are
understatement for sure.
Dude.
It's because, like, dude, those guys are
Class
family to
acts.
us now. Yeah.
Class act.
They're straight shooters.
Straight shooters. No bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that's one we were doing. Yeah, between,
Yeah, we got to do that with Straight Line. We got to go on tour with them.
Welcome.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think for all of us, yeah, dude, like 36 Crazy Fist, man. I mean, and for me, it's like
That was one of the best shows we've had here in years.
That's like my second favorite band of all time. My first favorite band ever is the Deftones. But the fact that we got to tour with like one of my favorite bands, and the fact
Yeah,
that those
we're all
guys,
huge.
that those guys are I mean, they could go to Europe and play to 3,000-4,000 people. They could tour the United States and still bring in 300-500 heads, And they decided that it would be a good idea
To live in Alaska.
to fly out to Lansing, Michigan,
Right.
and literally live with us in our van. Both bands together in a 15-passenger
In a
van.
tiny van.
Use all our gear for
It was
an
all right
entire
size,
week,
I guess,
and
but
not one time,
so many people.
that those guys that are used to that sort of treatment ever bitch about anything. In fact, they actually were like, "We need to do this more often." You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
It's like-
because it was the most fun we've all ever had on the road. That was my favorite
no
tour.
stress.
We've done tours where that was like 45 days long.
Yeah.
That was amazing and life-changing
Straight Line's
experience,
great.
and that was with Straight Line. But then we did that like week and a half with 36 and Straight Line, and then just because we were in the tight quarters, it was like the best feeling, and it was the best time, and it was like one of my most favorite tours. It was amazing.
For us, it would be. I think a consensus as a band would be 36 Crazy Fist and Straight Line Stitch.
The Straight Line
Yep.
Stitch. I asked them if they want to do this too. We'll see if they want to come in here next. If they don't, no big deal, whatever.
Yeah, we did Warped Tour.
Really, you guys like MC Chris?
We toured with MC Chris on Warped Tour. We played the same stage with them, and then we were on that for a week. It was amazing. He was the coolest dude ever.
Now he's gotten a lot of heat. lately, man.
I've
Like,
heard
a lot
that.
of heat.
That's what I've heard, which is crazy.
I love
Because
how
that's
he
not the
feels.
MC Chris
Yeah,
that
for a
I
long
know
time.
from Warped Tour when we played with them.
He seems kind of like a crybaby. I don't know the guy personally, but he did this whole crying YouTube video. He,
See, that's the thing. I've
he
heard
kicked
of
a bunch
it. I've never
bands
seen
off
any
his
of it.
show. What was that show? There's a show he did that he kicked a bunch of bands off of it and was really mad and talked shit on them. Because somebody tweeted somebody else from stage or something.
Oh, I heard about that.
Kicks fans out of shows all the time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
not the same guy we met. I mean,
Yeah,
That
that's
happens, Sometimes
I've
you
seen-
catch a guy on an off day, and that's all the publicity you get. So I'm glad you guys actually came to his defense and said
He was
that.
Yep,
nice to
no,
us.
he was the coolest guy ever.
5 days
He was the coolest guy ever.
Kept to himself, but
Yeah, he seems like he's a little reserved, kind of.
He's just always high. He's really high.
Good way to
Well, if you had that voice, you'd have no choice but to be high all the time too.
I mean, he is sirloin.
Right? MC MCP bands.
MCP band.
I love that song, Hijack.
Legend.
Brutal Chris, that shit is sweet. All right, so we did the favorite bands. Who was the shittiest bunch of assholes? If you want to talk about it, some people don't. But who is? Why are you gonna hand me a cash pool? Why are you gonna hand me a cash pool?
Take some Michigan medical.
Who are the biggest piece of shit that you had to deal with? Who sucked the most? Who did you wish would die in front of you? Who would you follow?
I like
home?
this lighter though, by the way.
It's my titty lighter. No, I
Titty
don't know if
fucking
wants to like
lighter.
name names, but this is a name show.
Yeah.
We like to name names.
I
This
just
is no
enjoyed this.
bullshit music business. Who were the biggest asshole pieces of shit that you had? Either you saw.
I would have to say, honestly, it's the fucking singer of the band KNOW LYFE.
Oh, that dude's a fucking turd. I saw him get drunk here once.
Yeah, I did
Take all
too.
his clothes off.
I wasn't drunk. I was
He
naked.
naked. Balls hanging out the back.
I took my clothes off willingly, and I was sober. And it was my birthday. That was a good decision in my
It was
eyes.
a good decision. High five you.
One of them.
I'll take that.
Until he like bent it over to scream, and then I just straight saw his brown eye in my face.
That's how I
That was kind of shitty.
All right, last chance to talk shit on somebody.
All right.
Who sucks?
Honestly, not that I would say I want to see them die or anything.
No,
like that,
yeah,
like,
we don't have to see them die, but who should be called out for their shit? I got two.
There's one band that, in all honesty, I don't know the other members. I'm only speaking specifically on one member who I think is. I'm sorry. I think he's a dick. He's a complete dick. He seems to be a misogynist. He seems to be an
I need a
egomaniac.
So who is it?
I think Jared from Head P, man.
Oh!
Straight up. And
Yeah, if you don't have tits.
I'll say that. And why? And this is why I think he's a dick.
Okay.
First and foremost, when we played, it's the festival season for us, so we got to play a really badass festival in our home state called Rockapalooza.
Yeah.
It was awesome, great festival. We had a great crowd, but there's a bunch of different stages. Head P was playing at the same time that Taproot was playing, and their stages were maybe like 30 feet from each other, but you really couldn't hear
30
it.
yards.
You know, whatever. Like you couldn't hear each band when they were both playing. But if one, but if
High
one
five
band,
metric system.
but if one band finished playing, the other one was on. Obviously, you heard a little
You
bit
can
of.
hear the carryover, sure.
So whenever Head P stopped playing some Bob Marley cover, fucking Taproot was playing, and I know
Normally when
Taproot
Jared would want to talk politics,
exactly, and I know
he was mad because he heard Taproot play.
I know the Taproot guys really well. They're cool guys,
They
all
were just
really
here 2
nice,
days ago.
super
Great
nice
guys.
dudes, super nice guys,
Awesome guys.
very nice dudes, you know,
Down to earth.
and fucking Head and Jared's on stage, and he straight up is like, "Shut that fucking shitty band off. Nobody wants to hear that bullshit about Taproot." And I'm like,
Wow.
"Dude, are you fucking in front of like 15,000 people?" Like, dude, it was. I mean, to me, man, that's just uncalled for, dude. It's like, you know, like there's already enough bullshit happening in the music industry, especially metal and heavy music. Like, you know what, dude? Everybody's gonna have their beef, and that's straight. I don't care, you know. But don't
Those
fucking.
guys didn't do anything to you. Yeah,
Exactly.
why
They
be a
didn't do a
dick?
goddamn thing, you know, like at all. They were just playing it to me.
Playing at the same time.
Yeah, like for me, man, that was just that to me is what the straw that broke the camel's back. You know what I'm saying? I've had other interactions with him. I've seen him interact with people, and to me, it just seems like if you're not a chick, he just fucking thinks that he's above you.
I've
And-
noticed that too.
And
Well,
we've played with him many
but
times.
I've also seen people have to call him because when he gets on stage and he talks about the working man, proletariat, here to help the
the
little
guy's full
guy.
of shit, dude. The guy doesn't do
Then
anything.
when you get off stage, you better help the little guy. If the club lost money, you better take that loss. And honestly, he was really cool with me. He was cool with me. He treated us pretty well. The show was okay, but I lost money. On a Head PE show, everybody's been asking for Head PE for years. We bring him here, and I lost money. But he helped me out a little. He was like, you know what, man, I'm not going to let you suffer. You know, what were we worth? And I told him the number. He's like, well, give us that. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, well, but our number was this. All right, well, let's split the difference. But he was really cool about it. But I've noticed that over the years, it is more about the conversation that he wants to have than anything else. All right, who else sucks real quick? Jared from Head PE, got it.
Oh shit.
You ever see his band from the 80s?
the Clue,
Yes.
The Clue?
Yes, I did.
fucking hilarious.
That was awesome.
Hilarious. You ever want to, you know what? You watch that video, you feel better. Who else sucks? Anybody else?
I can't think of anybody right now.
No one else made an impression that really upset you. That's good. Well, good news. All right, we're running out of time, so okay. Last one. Talk a little bit about what it's like to be on tour with these guys for the last 13 years. Who stinks the most?
Nobody
Who
actually.
sucks the worst in the van? Who never drives?
Bonzo.
No, dude, I'll drive when we're on
drive
a
when you're
full-on, blown-on tour and shit. But
These fucking dudes never.
You always drive.
I always
That's
drive. No,
'cause you
hey,
don't-
hey, I gotta
cheers
give
to Alfonso
I gotta give
for
props
not
to Jake.
driving.
I gotta give props to Jake. Jake does help me drive, man.
shit.
No, but
Yeah.
you drive.
But I
This
drive-
dude's
you
a
got
fucking
hired.
machine.
I
man.
drive. I
You
drive all the time. All the time.
That
I know
dude
you
is
do.
just fucking.
Yep.
Another question. Why does your van always break down all the time?
Dude, why would you say that? It hasn't broken down in a while, bro.
Sorry. It's the history with
I
you.
think
It's
maybe. I think a good idea for us is maybe to buy a new van.
instead of keep fixing the old bullshit.
No, we
buying
buy used vans.
Buying
That's how we
used
can
vans
afford
all
it.
the
I
time.
understand. Times are
I
tough.
can't afford
Yep.
a 20, 30,
But see,
$45,000
yeah,
van.
we can't do
nobody
that shit, man. We can't get a new van.
Why don't you rent a tour bus like the
Can't
big
do- can't get a new
bands?
van.
Because you actually want to make money on tour. Yeah, I get it.
To be able to finish the full tour.
I wasn't trying
That-
to jinx your van.
Finishing
I
a
hope
full
many more
tour
good days for your van.
is awesome.
It's awesome.
That's like
Most of you guys
succeeding
have
for
done
me.
all right lately, knock wood. Lately. Well, last closing thoughts. What do you want to say to people thinking of getting in the music business today? Hey, I kind of know how to play guitar. I got a bunch of friends. We could probably put a band together.
Fuck the music.
Fuck the people. No,
Don't
do
it. Fuck the people.
no. Honestly, you know, just
Early as fuck.
my only
just
piece
play.
of, my only
I'd say
piece of
play.
advice
Fuck.
is
Play for the music.
play for the music, man. That's it. You know, play because you love playing music and because you love being on stage, not because you're
You're
looking
not
to.
going to make any money.
Not because you're looking to get something out of it in the sense of like fame or fortune or anything. Like, do it because you truly love it. I know that what I can say about our band is that when all of us go on stage, and we've literally played to 10,000 people, and we've literally played to 0 people. And I think that anybody who's ever seen us can back me up on
Same
this
show
and
every
say
time.
it's the same show every time because we love what we do. It's not about anything other than us
playing
playing.
music, man.
We love playing music. If you know how to pick up a guitar and you can play music. That's it. Everything else will come eventually. So.
Thank you, KNOW LYFE, for being with us tonight.
Let's go put shit on stage.
And now we're about to rock that stage.
I'll be
Play some Michigan music.
Perfect. 25 minutes.